September is National Childhood Obesity Awareness Month, and today we turn to Dr. David Hicks. He's a medical director of adult health and family planning for the Jefferson County Health Department. Doctor, good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so we know that is a very topical subject in the country, childhood obesity, because we've become more of a sedentary society in a lot of ways, right?
Yes.
So we're seeing the increase in childhood obesity.
Yes, and it starts actually in pediatrics. So when we have our children who perhaps aren't being as physically active or certain things with diet, we're seeing increased rates. Actually in Alabama, 15% of children are overweight, and then that increases to 18% to be actually obese. That translates into adulthood, where 32% of us are actually overweight.
So when we're looking at the growth chart for children when they're infants, I mean, that really is playing in to what you're looking for down the road, right?
Absolutely. We measure something called the body mass index, and that was how we determine, based on your height and your weight and your gender, are you overweight or obese.
All right, well, let's look. We had put that graphic up. I think we can put it back up now, but we're talking about the prevalence of pediatric obesity. So walk us through that graphic there.
Yes, so when we talk about overweight, that's the first stage where that's when the weight starts climbing, 15%, and as it goes higher, and especially in younger children, when we see our body mass index greater than 95 percentile, that's when we're going into the obese category. That's going to be 18% of our children.
What is considered obese? Is it a certain number?
And we can't. In children, it's more difficult because as we're growing, things change. There's gender differences. So we look at percentiles, so that 95% percentile. In adults, it's different. In adults, we can look at something called the BMI and actually have a hardcore number. When that reaches greater than 30 in adults, that's considered obese.
Okay, and we've talked about for years that breastfeeding actually is supposed to help.
Yes.
Oh, so the lack of breastfeeding seems to be a problem.
Yes, it is. Also, physical inactivity. That means we're not being as active and mobile in this society.
A lot of video games we play now.
Yes,
right?
That's something that we actually encourage. Less TV time for children, less video games. Let's get outside and play.
All right, let's work through the complications because these really, at least that first one, it applies to adults.
Absolutely. And so problems sleeping, the increased risk of something called sleep apnea. We're seeing children that are actually going through puberty early menstrual cycles starting. Unfortunately, there's emotional effects as well.
Do we know why that's happening? Is it the
hormonal changes? When you have increased fat distribution in your body, there are changes in hormones in your body.
So really the way the food we're eating now has changed us physically.
Absolutely. There's contributions to that, and also other lifestyle things as far as exercise and lack of exercise.
All right, let's move along to the prevention side of it and treatment of obesity.
Absolutely. So when we find out someone is obese, what we suggest is, again, we're encouraging breastfeeding always. We're going to maintain physical activity. So when we say physical activity, we're talking about you have to almost bust a sweat. You have to work that. We encourage children to ride bicycles, run, kick. Those are really active sports. Dancing, playing catch, jungle gyms. Right now, the Jefferson County Department of Health is partnering with local community leaders to increase walking trails and parks and open spaces. Also, we're saying turn off the television. Turn off the television.
When Good Day Alabama's over.
Absolutely, when the newscast is over.
All right, now, and I know what you mean. You mean we're spending too much time in front of the TV,
Absolutely.
not getting the exercise, but you need to have a balance.
Yes.
All right, good to see you.
Thank you so much.